Welcome to Context 101. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Good evening. Tonight, we bring you a story that has sent shockwaves through the global economy. In a move shaking the global auto industry to its core, China has imposed a staggering 300% tariff on American-made electric vehicles, a decision that has left many industry experts reeling. This is a direct blow to the U.S. green tech sector, with Tesla as the most visible casualty. The company, which has been a pioneer in the electric vehicle market, now faces an uphill battle. Tesla's U.S.-built Model S and Model X are now priced out of the world's largest EV market overnight. This sudden shift could have long-term repercussions for the company's global strategy. Beijing's decision is calculated, protecting its domestic EV industry while retaliating against U.S. protectionism. Chinese companies like BYD and NIO stand to benefit significantly from this move. The tariff signals a deepening rift between the world's two largest economies, escalating a trade war many hoped was cooling. Diplomatic relations are now more strained than ever. This could trigger a wave of retaliatory actions, unraveling global supply chains and creating new economic uncertainty. The ripple effects could be felt across various sectors, from technology to agriculture. For Tesla and other U.S. automakers, the nightmare scenario is here, caught in a political vice with no easy escape. Executives are scrambling to find solutions, but the path forward is fraught with challenges. The world is watching to see how both nations and the global market will adapt to this fractured reality. Investors and analysts are closely monitoring the situation, looking for any signs of resolution. The question now, how will the world's economic order respond to this new era of confrontation? The answers will shape the future of international trade and economic policies for years to come. To truly grasp the impact of today's historic tariff, we need to rewind the clock and trace the chain of events that brought us to this moment. The story is more than just numbers and policy. It's a tale of shifting alliances, political gambits, and economic brinkmanship that has shaped the global landscape. Tensions spiked with Donald Trump's return to the White House in 2025. His administration doubled down on an America First agenda, vowing to protect American jobs and industries at any cost. The U.S.-China trade deficit became a rallying cry, and tariffs were wielded as a weapon to force change. The U.S. fired the first shot. Tariffs on Chinese goods soared to an unprecedented 145%. This move sent shockwaves through global supply chains, raising prices and stoking uncertainty for businesses and consumers alike. China hit back swiftly, imposing 125% tariffs on American products, with a special focus on electric vehicles. The impact was immediate. Tesla, a symbol of American innovation, was forced to halt U.S.-built car sales in China, sending ripples through the auto industry. In mid-2025, a brief truce was brokered. Tariffs were lowered and hopes for a lasting agreement flickered. But the peace was fragile, built on shaky trust and unresolved grievances. By late 2025, the truce unraveled. Both sides returned to brinkmanship, each escalation fueling more uncertainty. Markets tumbled and diplomatic channels grew colder. The 300% tariff we see today is the logical, if extreme, result of a year marked by economic warfare, failed negotiations, and deepening mistrust. It's a number that signals not just policy, but a breakdown in dialogue. Each escalation brought us closer to this economic precipice, with every round of tariffs pushing the world further from stability and cooperation. The trade war is no longer just about numbers or deficits. It's about control over the future of global commerce, technological leadership, and the rules that will define the next era of international trade. The world now faces the consequences of a year defined by broken truces, rising hostility, and the unraveling of decades of economic integration. Investors, businesses, and everyday people are left to navigate the fallout. The stage is set for a new era of uncertainty, one where the rules are being rewritten and the stakes have never been higher. The Trump administration's trade policy is all about disruption. Tariffs are its weapon of choice, not a last resort. The U.S. has targeted not just EVs, but the entire tech sector, aiming to reshore industries and limit China's tech rise. In 2025, threats of 300% tariffs on imported semiconductors sent markets reeling. The administration even considered direct financial stakes in companies like Intel to boost domestic chip production. Deals with Nvidia and AMD forced them to share revenue from China sales with the U.S. government. Critics call this a dangerous precedent, but it's the context for China's retaliatory EV tariff, a mirror image of U.S. aggression. The result? a cycle of escalation, with both nations locked in a perilous standoff. Tesla, once invincible, is now uniquely exposed. The 300% tariff walls off China from its US-made luxury models, making them unaffordable overnight. Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory, producing the Model 3 and Model Y, is now its only lifeline in China. But relying on a single factory, in a politically tense nation, is a huge risk. Elon Musk's polarizing image complicates Tesla's global brand, especially in Europe and China. The company's global structure, once a strength, is now a liability. Tesla is no longer just a disruptor, it's a symbol of globalization's dangers in a world of rising nationalism. The company faces battles on all fronts: competitors, governments, and shifting consumer sentiment. Tesla's troubles began before the latest tariff. In 2025, US sales fell 9% even as the market grew. China sales dropped 11.5%, and Europe plunged 44%. Wall Street responded harshly. Tesla's stock dropped 34% in just a few months. The Shanghai Gigafactory is now Tesla's most critical asset, allowing it to bypass tariffs and compete locally. But this dependence on a single foreign plant is precarious. The 300% tariff cements Tesla's reliance on Shanghai, making its future in China hinge on political stability. Investors and analysts are watching closely. Tesla's global strategy is at a crossroads. The company's fate now rests on its ability to adapt in a fractured world. Tesla isn't the only casualty. America's entire EV sector is hit. Rivian, Lucid, and others are now locked out of China, losing a vital growth market. The global supply chain is disrupted. US and Chinese companies alike face canceled orders and lost revenue. Uncertainty paralyzes investment, slows hiring, and forces companies to focus on survival over innovation. China's move accelerates the rise of domestic brands like BYD and NIO, while American imports vanish. The world risks splitting into two auto ecosystems, one Chinese, one Western. This bifurcation means less choice, higher prices, and slower innovation for everyone. The trade war is reshaping the global auto industry, and not for the better. The ripple effects will be felt for years to come. Experts warn that we are witnessing the end of the globalist era in trade, a shift that could reshape the world economy for decades to come. The seamless flow of goods and services across borders, once taken for granted, is now under threat from rising protectionism and geopolitical tensions. Dr. Evelyn Reed of the Peterson Institute explains that China's new tariffs are more than just a response to US policy. They signal a deliberate move toward economic decoupling. This is a strategic pivot as China seeks to reduce its reliance on Western markets and assert greater control over its own economic destiny. China is betting that its vast domestic market, with a growing middle class and increasing demand for technology, can sustain its industries, even without American consumers. This gamble could redefine global supply chains and shift the balance of economic power. For companies like Tesla, the dream of being a truly global player is now threatened. Instead of operating freely across continents, Tesla may find itself becoming a regional champion, its fate tied to the unpredictable winds of international politics and trade disputes. The era of friction-free global operations is over. Companies must now navigate a maze of tariffs, regulations, and shifting alliances, making international business more complex and costly than ever before. The ongoing trade war could slow the global shift to sustainable energy. Higher tariffs and disrupted supply chains may raise prices for electric vehicles and renewable technologies, stifling innovation and making it harder for countries to meet their climate commitments. Protected markets mean less competition, which often leads to higher costs and fewer choices for consumers everywhere. Everyday goods could become more expensive, and shortages may become more common as supply chains fragment. The best-case scenario would be a negotiated settlement that restores stability and cooperation. However, with political will in short supply and national interests taking precedence, such an outcome seems increasingly unlikely. More likely is a future marked by continued escalation, fragmented economies, and companies forced to pick sides in a divided world. This new reality could limit growth and innovation for years to come. The world faces an expensive, inefficient future, one where progress is slowed by barriers and inefficiencies, and where the costs of doing business rise for everyone. This is a future that should concern us all, regardless of where we live. The stakes for global progress and climate goals have never been higher. The choices made today will determine not just the fate of industries, but the health of our planet and the prosperity of future generations. The human cost of this trade war is real. U.S. workers at Tesla's Fremont plant face job insecurity as exports to China vanish. Chinese consumers lose access to high-end American EVs, limiting choice and slowing innovation. American farmers and port workers are collateral damage as trade volumes fall. Tariffs act as a hidden tax, raising prices for families in both countries. The economic pain ripples far beyond automaking, affecting entire communities. Ordinary people bear the brunt of political battles they didn't choose. The cost of confrontation is paid by workers and consumers on both sides. As 2026 begins, the world stands at a crossroads. China's 300% tariff is the boldest move yet in a spiraling trade war. For Tesla and the U.S. auto industry, a massive market is now closed, forcing a painful rethink. Two paths lie ahead: de-escalation through tough diplomacy or continued escalation and economic fragmentation. The likely outcome: more tariffs, deeper divides, and a world split into rival economic blocs. Companies will face higher costs, less innovation, and greater instability. This is about more than trade. It's about the future of global cooperation. Will the next decade be defined by rivalry or shared progress? The choices made now will shape a generation. In a divided world, where does the path to prosperity lie?